Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Stewart Athletic Association Annual Awards Banquet. Rather a significant year, I think. It's 20 years since this school opened its doors to students and staff. And it's not too many schools that I know of in the province that on the 20th anniversary of the school, that all of the principals that have been involved with the school have been able to attend. It's certainly a pleasure to welcome back Jim McNabb, Dr. Ray, Jack Richardson, and I must admit that I really should be sharing this spot with Brian Sweeney. You grew up with Mr. Sweeney. You've only put up with 3 or 4 months of me, so Brian, welcome back to the school that still bears the scars. Okay. Something like this evening does not happen overnight, as you know. Planning has been going on for months. I think I heard Brian say that Molly was talking about this sometime last year. I do not want to overlook anyone, so I'm just going to name one person, and I would like to say to Molly and Kelly how much a school appreciates the effort that you people have put into something like this. Nothing gets done in a school unless someone takes charge and does it. Now, whether that happens to be a student or a group of students or a staff member or a group of staff who get behind something and make it go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Greg Kidd.
My name's Robin Edwards.
And we are the 1986-87 athlete Student Athletic Association presidents. And we'd like to say a little bit about the organization itself. There are 28 extracurricular sports teams at TAS. They consist of about 35 coaches and roughly 250 players. The SAA, as an organization, exists to make sure that these teams can compete at the highest level of competition with any other team they might come against.
Some teams have shown extreme skill. Among these are the senior girls basketball team, who competed at OSSA this year. The girls field hockey team also made it to OSSA for yet another year.
First person sort of precedent under the new system is a group of students. I think I'll call them up in 2 sections. So if Rob Bolton, Bill Curtin, Gary Gilbert, Dave Gilbert, Tim McNabb, Jason Montgomery, and Jack McDonald would come up, please. You want to represent all of these people or just take your own? Congratulations. Thank you. I don't know where the other young people have gone. They paid for their dinner. I hope they're okay. The second group I'd like to call represent a part of the team, not all the team. I don't have the entire team's envelopes because of the new system. So I'd like to call this group also up here: Bob Von Bedeker, Gloria Endicott, Robin Edwards, Terry Todd, and Sue Ash. If you would come up, girls. There are other young ladies who are also on this team who will be coming up later: Lori Whitnell, Angie Jeffrey, who can't come up because she's in Switzerland, and Muriel Sirios, who is also in Switzerland, which is where Angie is staying, Krista Mulligan, Kelly Smith, and Meredith Pilley. When you have an offset team, I know this doesn't, they'll come up later. She'll come up later. Other people have her envelopes. When you have an offset team, you want to say a few things about them because as a coach, you don't get to go very often. And though we've been a few times, it's always something special. And with this group, it's particularly special to me because it's been a sort of a 2-year process. Mr. McLaughlin and myself, who've had the pleasure of being with these young people for 2 years, when we first were lucky enough to be assigned to coach them, we decided that we had an awful lot of talent, and how could we as outstanding coaches do something with this particular group? So what we did is we looked at all the other outstanding coaches in the business, the old greats, Toe Blake and the Punch and Blacks and the Glenn Sathers and some of the new and upcoming young coaches, and we said, how do they, as outstanding coaches, get on with their players? And we looked at videotapes, and we looked at practices, and then we really didn't have too many absolute answers. And so we looked at the tapes again, and finally it came down to there really wasn't anything particularly special about the coaches. What they all seemed to have in common was great athletes. If you had a great athlete and a whole bunch of great athletes, it was easy to be a great coach. Then we said, well, if there are a lot of great coaches around, what separates the great coaches from the outstanding coaches, which we were, and that we knew we would have to continue to be with these girls. So we looked at all the tapes again, and we really came up with the answer that there's really, again, nothing special about the coaching, that it's all these great athletes, and all you have to do to be an outstanding coach is have outstanding athletes who work really hard. Well, we were fortunate enough to be able to have an entire team of outstanding athletes who worked day and night at what they were doing. I think with 12 players, more or less, with Switzerland coming and going, it was hard to really keep track accurately. I think what we missed is 5 practices from the total number of 12 athletes from September to December. In other words, everybody was there all the time, working 2 to 2.5 hours a day, even days when we didn't have it, Friday night extra practices, Saturday tournaments, conclusively proving that it's very, very easy to be an outstanding coach as long as you have outstanding talent. And this team is loaded, or was loaded, and I think continues to be, because they'll go down in their own memories as sometimes you can't do much with your tongue. As a great team, and I'm certainly pleased to have had the opportunity to be with them.